Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Nelly and I am an aspiring indie author. So today we are going to be talking about 10 just like fun-ish facts about me that you could use for your character development. So basically the idea for this came from like when you're building a character or when you're reading a book and you're like, how relatable is that? Girl, if anybody ever tells you that's not relatable, just send them to this video. Be like, one other person has it, so it's obviously relatable. Some of these things are, I feel like, a lot more relatable, and a lot more people might be like, yeah, that makes sense. Some of these things I've genuinely never heard anyone talk about, so you'll get a nice little range and hopefully use them for your characters, because I think that'd be so funny to just like, if I hear that someone used this video to actually develop their character a little bit, I think that's so cute. So it's currently Camp Nano, and that's pretty much what gave me the idea to do this video. So hopefully maybe you can use these for your characters, because we are only about a week into Camp Nano, so you do still have time to integrate these facts into your characters, or maybe in future Camp NaNoWriMos or in NaNoWriMo in November. I think all of it would be so much fun. So number one we're gonna start off with is I have to sleep closest to the wall, furthest from the door. So I don't actually have a side. It genuinely depends on where the bed is in the room is where I'm sleeping. So like a lot of people I feel like are like, yeah, I always sleep on the right side, I always sleep on the left side. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I just have to be closest to the wall, furthest from the door. And it's not like a conscious decision when I'm going into the bed. Like I realized this, I think a year or two ago, that this is how I like always end up choosing which bed or like where on the bed I'm gonna be sleeping. Like if we're in a hotel, choosing which bed and then choosing which side of the bed I'm gonna be sleeping on is like subconsciously done because of this. So I like to say that usually I choose furthest from the door over closest to the wall, but I don't know if that's true. So like sometimes I'll choose closest to the wall over furthest from the door, sometimes the other way around, because when I was younger, my sister and I shared a room and our beds were like against the walls. My bed was right next to the door, so like I was fine with that. But then sometimes I choose a little bit closer, like to right my bed now. It's kind of like in a weird position, but like I used to sleep on the side that was closer to the wall, which is farthest from the door, but now I sleep on the other side because it's right next to my nightstand. So it's still far from the wall. It's kind of close to it's still pretty close to the wall, far from the door, but like it's not the closest or the furthest. But I do think I feel safer, because I think my thing for that is when you're closest to the wall, you have one side blocked off immediately, which is the one thing I don't like about not having my bed planted straight against the wall, because I like to be closed in on both sides. So I don't have that right now, and it's not fun, you guys. Another weird one here for you. I enjoy the taste of food better when I'm standing up. Like I know that sounds so weird, but if I'm eating it while standing, which I actually don't do often, like it's not like I consciously decide I'm gonna stand up and eat, but like sometimes when you're just at the counter in the kitchen, you're just standing around and eating, I enjoy the taste of it more. Like I literally does nothing to the taste, but subconsciously I'm like, yep, this tastes better. So and I thought about this fact because I was standing at my counter in my kitchen eating, and I was like, this tastes so much better now. And it's just so weird. This next one is a little bit less like a fun fact about me. It is about me, but like I feel like this one's more relatable, but like no one talks about it. And that is that I'm 21 years old. I'll be 22 later this year. I'm 21 years old and I've never been kissed. And I think like this isn't like a fun fact that you're like, oh, let me make my character, but a lot of times And I think this came because I just read a book where the character was 18 and she'd never really been with anyone. And she felt bad about that. I feel like a lot of times the characters are always like 18. Like they never really go to 20, 18, 19 the max. I don't think I even read something that was 19. But they never reached 20 and never like been with anyone or anything like that. Or when they are at like 18 and never been with anyone, they feel shameful for it. And I just feel like it's something that we shouldn't feel shameful for. Like, yeah, it hasn't happened, but it will happen. It's just like, I don't know. I would like to see more characters that are a little bit older and haven't, you know, been with anyone. It's just like, there's nothing wrong. Or like haven't been with anyone and aren't worried about the fact that they haven't been with anyone. And I know what you're thinking. Why don't I just write a character like that? I actually am. Not right now, but like kind of soon-ish. I don't know when. I do have the characters in mind. But I like to see more than just me do it, you know? Next one is that I have to cover my butt when sleeping at all times. Now this one isn't like our first one where it's like, sometimes I can break it. No, I have to cover my butt at all times. When I'm taking, it doesn't matter how hot it is. Like it could be sweltering hot and I can have all the blankets kicked off. I will have a small tinge of blanket just covering my butt. I cannot help it. I have to have it. Even when I fall asleep, like when I'm just lying down and I don't plan on taking a nap, but I end up taking a nap, subconsciously, I'll wake up and my butt will be covered, you know? So like at some point during my nap, I pull the blanket over, or it doesn't have to be a blanket. I sometimes I like if I fall asleep on the couch, I pull a pillow over my butt, like, and it's not like I do it right before I fall asleep because a lot of times again when I'm taking a nap, I hadn't planned on taking a nap. I just fell asleep. I will wake up with my butt covered. So it is. I don't know. I think it's like a superstition in my family, in a sense, because anytime you tell an Armenian I had a bad dream, which I'll get back to this in a second. Like I had a bad dream, to like, did you sleep with your butt open? They say it in Armenian, so it sounds a little bit better, but like they're like, did you sleep with your butt open? So that's kind of like subconsciously taught me to sleep with my butt closed so I don't get bad dreams. And guess what? I like hardly ever get bad dreams. So maybe it works. Maybe you can use it. So the next one is that I have actually never ditched class up until like 2 days ago, and I didn't ditch class 2 days ago. I slept past it, which is fine because it's not a real class, so I still don't count that as ditching class because it's like it's not a real class. You just go in there and read someone's, you know, written work and just talk about it. So it's not like a real like lecture type of class, so I still don't count it. But in general, before that, I had never ditched class. The general thought of ditching class gives me anxiety. Like just the thought of not being there, like of missing something. Like I don't care how invaluable that information was, I have to be there to get it. Like I know the one day I'm not there is the one day that they're gonna say something funny or something important, or like I cannot. I have to be there to pick it all up. So I've never ditched class. My family makes fun of me for it all the time. I do not care. But yeah, I think this came to me because literally always characters are ditching, and even like the goody two shoes, always. Oh, and I'm not like, it's not like they ditch like all the time. It's like, but they'll have like a ditching scene or two or stuff like that. And I feel like it'd be interesting to see that same person. It doesn't have to be a goody two shoe, it could be like anyone who gets like anxious about the thought of ditching, like they want to ditch. Because I understand a lot of times when the goody two shoes in these books ditch, it's not because they're ditching to ditch. They're ditching because like so much is going on, they have to be away. No, my anxiety would not have allowed that. So I would go sit in class. It might not pay attention all the way, but I'd sit in class. So I think that'd be interesting to see. The next little fact that kind of goes off the ditching fact, and that's that I'm never late to class either. I've been late in college once, I think. And that's because, again, I slept late. And this was like pre-Zoom, so I slept late. I woke up. Literally, class had already started when I woke up. I got dressed in like 2 minutes. Like, I got fully ready. It was a 17-minute walk that I made in like 8 minutes. I got into class, sat down, went through lecture. After lecture, I straight up went and apologized to him. Like, I felt so terrible about being late to class. Like, I think it's so disrespectful. If you're gonna be late anyway, just I don't know. Like, in my head, I'm like, if I'm gonna be late, we're just not showing up, and like, it's not an option to not show up. So we are not gonna be late. I have to be on time for class. I'm assuming it would work the same way for like a job. I don't really know yet. But it's pretty much just those. Like, for parties and stuff, I'm not like that. Like, I will show up late because I don't really care about that. But yeah, in terms of school, again, my family makes fun of me for it all the time. Do I care? Nope. But let's go back to food. So this fact, I kind of jumbled a bunch of them up together. I don't like bacon. I don't like hot chocolate. I can only eat small bits of chocolate, which is, I think, the reason I don't like hot chocolate, because it's just like a whole bunch of chocolate melted down. It's disgusting. It's way too much chocolate for me. Like, I eat a bit and I'm like, okay, we need like a bunch of water to wash this down. And then the final part of that little fact is I don't eat McDonald's. I think this is important to say because all characters eat McDonald's. Everybody eats McDonald's. So I understand it's a relatable part. And when I read stuff like that, I just pretend it's a different burger place. But yeah, I haven't had McDonald's since the summer before 7th grade. Well, 7th grade is when I like the very beginning of 7th grade is when I kind of like decided I wasn't having McDonald's anymore. I don't know how long before that it had been since I had McDonald's, so I just pretend it's the summer before 7th grade. So that would be 2011. So, oh my god, almost 10 years. Yeah, I haven't had McDonald's like almost 10 years. So this next fact is actually a video I'm gonna make for my second channel, and I'm posting that tomorrow, so I'll have it linked down below. And that's that I have driver's anxiety. So obviously in that video I'm gonna go into a lot more depth of what I'm really talking about. But when I saw To All the Boys movie, because I read the book too, but I don't remember seeing this in the book. But when I saw the movie, and she kind of had like this anxiety when she was driving, the parking in the end, I don't park like that, but like that parking in the end made me laugh. I don't know, it just felt nice to be able to relate to something like that. She did get over her anxiety, I think, eventually. I have not, and I don't see it happening. But yeah, it was nice for once to see someone who has that, and I was like, oh my god, I can relate to that, because I feel like, and I don't like, this one makes total sense. Driving is such a common thing that like no one even thinks to put anxiety around that when they're like creating a story. And before I had it, I didn't either. Before I had it, it was like, oh, such a common thing that everyone knows how to do. So it was like, I know how to do it, but like I didn't even think to like there's anything around that. So sorry if my camera moved. I just knocked this entire stand over. So anyway, let's get back into these little facts. We are going back to school now. Yeah, so I loved going to school so much that I don't remember what year it was. Freshman and sophomore year. Yeah, I think it was freshman and sophomore year. Yeah, I think it was freshman and sophomore year. My best friend and I at the time loved school so much. I think it was less that we loved school so much. It was more that we loved hanging out so much that we lied to our parents, and we told them we had class at 6:30 in the morning, which it wasn't a lie. At first, we actually did have class at 6 a.m. in the morning. So we did actually have to be there because we had a program called SAS in my high school where we took college classes, and the professor would come to our school and like teach us there. And it was a 6 a.m. class. So we were taking that, but it was only for think a month and a half or 2 months, like 2 months of the semester, something like that. But we continued to tell our parents for the rest of the year that we had classes exam so we could show up at the school at 6 a.m. And we did that. And then she was in the wrestling team and my sister was a cheerleader, so my sister had to stay after school for practice. And whenever my best friend would be in wrestling, like I would go watch sometimes. But like she was in wrestling all the time, so sometimes she would just stay late. She would just tell her mom she was at wrestling or something. And we would hang out until, it was time for my sister to be done with practice, which was around, again, 6 o'clock. So we were basically at school for 12 full hours and we spent all of our time together. Yeah, we were those weirdos that we were literally at school all, like, fully half the day. And I think it'd be so funny to see, characters who straight up show up at 6 a.m. and then leave at 6 p.m. But they enjoy it and it's not all around school, I don't know. I feel like that's just so funny. Like when I look back on like what we did, I just laugh. I'm like, we are ridiculous, and I cannot believe we used to wake up at like 5:30, even earlier, every morning just so we can go hang out for a couple hours before school. Like, how ridiculous that sounds, but it's so funny. And then after school, we still had all that energy. Like, we loved being together. This actually isn't part of my fun facts, but people actually thought we were lesbians at one point because we spent all of our time together. Like, before school, after school, we would hang out. And then during school, we were always hanging out. So yeah, people thought we were lesbians. We didn't care. But yeah. And my final fact comes to you because I've been on YouTube for the past couple of days, watching all that YouTube drama that I'm so glad most people are not a part of. It's just like those bigger people. But watching all that drama and watching people criticize the apologies, and I understand that criticism because I usually don't believe the apologies either, but it made me think, in my family, we don't apologize. We don't do it. We kind of like, during arguments, we kind of just let it simmer. And then like an hour later, we're like, hey, you want food? Or like, we just go and we just like hang out like it's normal. Like, no one apologizes in my family. Even the really big arguments, we don't apologize. We will talk it through, but we won't apologize. Like, I genuinely cannot tell you the last time I apologized for something. And I don't think I'm close enough to any friends to have to apologize, like where we get into fights where I have to apologize for something. Because I feel like the big fights really for me come from if we're close. Because if we're not like close like my best friend and I used to be, what am I gonna fight with you about? Like, I don't know. So I don't really get into fights with my friends. With my family, when we get into fights, yeah, we don't apologize. We kind of just, life moves on and we're like cool with it. Like, everyone understands. So I realized while I was watching these, I was like, yeah, I don't remember the last time I apologized. And it's like, I'm not saying this as a bad thing. Like, I don't think this should be taken as a bad thing if you're gonna use this for a character. I think if you're gonna use this, straight up use it the way my family has it, where and no one apologizes for anything, but everyone's okay with it and it's funny. And like, my siblings and I will fight, we'll get mad at each other. 10 minutes later we'll like jump on each other. We're like, hey, what are you doing? Like, we don't care about stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it's part of being like a close family. You just move on. Because I feel like if you're always apologizing for something, eventually you're gonna feel stuck. You're gonna be like, oh my god, should I say that? Because then it's gonna hurt their feelings. Like, my family do not care about that. We will hurt each other's feelings, but then we'll be over it. So it's fine. So those are my 10 little facts about me that you could possibly use for your character development. Possibly in Camp NaNoWriMo, possibly outside of Camp NaNoWriMo. So yeah, if you liked this video, it'd be really great if you'd like, subscribe, maybe stick around, maybe comment. If you're gonna use any of these, comment below which ones you used, because I think that'd be so much fun. Also, if you use them. Maybe eventually let me know what bug it is, and then I can go and relate to your character, which would be so nice. But thank you for watching. Goodbye.